Hello, welcome, or welcome back to Heretic Tarot. Clearly, we're doing something a little bit different. This has been something that's been working its way through me for the last couple months, and I feel like I kind of finally have the energy to put it out there. Forgive me if you can hear me breathing kind of hard. I'm nervous. That's also been part of the process, getting over the fear, because new shit, right? Scary. And I don't really think that there's anything else kind of out there like this, which is the heretic in me. So before I kind of get ahead of myself, clearly we are talking about human design. Maybe that wasn't clear, but okay. We're talking about human design. And specifically for the purpose of these readings, we are going to be talking about your human design profile. Now, this may be the first time that you're hearing about human design, maybe not. I mean, you can be kind of diving into it too. I have been doing a deep dive into it. And what made me take that dive is my profile. I'm a 5/1, which is a heretic investigator, which is also where part of my name comes from, the name of this channel and the name of my business. So, reading about my profile, I mean, literal tears were were coming out of my eyes, because it was the first time and probably ever in my life that I had actually felt seen and understood, and I didn't feel inherently flawed, and I didn't feel crazy, for having the experiences that I had had. So from there, and with the 5/1 profile, it is very hard to be seen. So again, just feeling that recognition, hell yeah. I was like, give me everything. I need to know absolutely everything. And I don't, I'm not an authority on this. I'm not claiming to be, I am claiming to be a heretic and bringing more information. I do still have an intention of doing the Zodiac sign readings, but this is just a different way for you to get information regarding your situation. And that's what my intention is. Because also the one line in my profile loves investigation and just kind of having that information. That's not everybody, of course, but like I said, it's something different outside of your sun, moon, and rising sign. So, the readings are going to be the same. I mean, we'll get to, of course, the good stuff, but I just kind of want to set my intentions here and what you can expect. Really, the only thing that's changing is, like I said, we're not going to go by Zodiac. We're going to go by human design profile. At the beginning of each profile reading, I do have an intention of reading some new information. Like clearly, like I have the definitive book of human design here, which comes from the School of Human Design, which I did not attend, but I bought the book. And I think it's, of course, just starting at the source, right? Or not. Okay. And then, I have a few other books. There's a few other blogs, and things. So, I do intend to just kind of give a bit more information on each profile every time I put these readings out. And then from there, we're just going to go into like the regular tarot reading. So that part is going to stay the same. Now, if you know your profile, you can just skip ahead because you would be here because this is your profile. But if you don't know your profile yet, I'll link the website below. I use Joven Archive because, again, you know, it's kind of coming from the original. There are plenty of options when it comes to getting your human design. So, I mean, you can just Google human design chart and pick one. Of course, I mean, pick one that's free. I think for the most part they are, most of them, all of them. So you'll need the same information you need for your natal chart. So you'll need your birth date, the time, and location. Now with human design, the time does need to be as accurate as you can get it, because there are certain things that can change based on the time. So again, you would want to try to get that as accurate as you can. If you don't know the exact time, maybe you know that you were born sometime in the morning, maybe you know that you were born sometime in the afternoon or evening or overnight. You know, I mean, you can kind of use a general time that correlates to the time of day. Like morning, you can use 6 or 8 o'clock, afternoon, noon or 2 o'clock, evening, 6 or 8 o'clock, overnight, you know, I don't know, 1 or 3 o'clock. And if you don't really know that, like I have a friend who has no clue, like the time isn't even on her birth certificate, but she has always had this feeling that she was born in the morning and has just kind of rolled with that. So, you know, but you'll put in your information and you'll see your body graph. This one is mine. Aw. Now, your body graph is going to be unique to you. I don't think that it's impossible, but I think it's incredibly rare for somebody else to have your same exact design. There might be similarities, but as far as it being exact, that's pretty rare. Like my cousin and I have the same centers defined, which means that those centers are colored in. And we have some of the same channels and gates, which are those red or black areas between the centers, but it's not exactly the same. But there's a lot of similarities between us, but of course there's a lot of differences. So you'll see on the right or the left side, there's those numbers in red, that's the design side. And on the left, there's the numbers in black, which is your personality. And those numbers are the correlating gates, which again are the red and black lines between the centers. And the centers are those areas that are either colored in, there's 9 of them. They're either colored in or defined, or they are white or undefined. You can have all of them colored in, you could have none of them colored in, and you can have any combination of that in between. So it depending on how your screen looks, you might have to scroll down a little bit, or it might be to the right, but you'll see that there's listed a type, which would be either a manifester, a generator, a manifesting generator, a projector, or a reflector. You'll see definition, you'll see strategy, you'll see your profile, your inner authority, your not self theme, and your incarnation cross. Now, we are focusing on your profile. Some would say, and I would of course agree with them, that one of the more important aspects of human design is understanding your type, your strategy, and authority, because that is how it is best for you to operate in the world or navigate life in the best way suited for your personal design. So, I mean, you can just Google or jump on YouTube and type in manifester type, or just manifester human design, you know, whatever your type is, manifesting generator, you know, whatever your type is, just type that information. I mean, there's so much good information. Of course, you can buy books if that's what you're into. However, I will leave that more to you for the time being. And like I said, we are going to focus on your profile. And before we get into the readings, and actually before I even skip too far ahead, there are 12 profiles. And those are 1-3, which is the investigator martyr, 1-4, which is investigator opportunist, 2-4, the hermit opportunist, 2-5, hermit heretic, 3-5, martyr heretic, 3-6, martyr role model, 4-6, opportunist role model, 4-1, opportunist investigator, 5-1, heretic investigator, 5-2, heretic hermit, 6-2, role model hermit, and 6-3, role model martyr. So again, you'll find that there once you pull up your chart. And if you are new to human design, I just, because some people are like, what the hell? What is that? And again, I think that, I could talk for hours about what it is. And maybe someday I will. But for now, I just wanted to give this little snippet out of the definitive book of human design. It says the human design system is not a belief system. It does not require that you believe in anything. It is neither stories nor philosophy. It is a concrete map to the nature of being, a mapping of your genetic code. This ability to be able to detail the mechanics of our nature in such depth is obviously profound because it reveals our complete nature in all its subtleties. Excuse me. Human design opens a door to the potential of self-love, a love of life, and the love of others through understanding. Ra'uruhu. And that's the guy that channeled human design back in 1980 something. So that's just a little snippet about human design. And we're going to get on to the actual reading. Hello. This is actually the 4th or 5th time that I have tried to make this video. So we'll see how this goes. Speaking about trial and error. So you are the 3-5 profile, which is the martyr heretic. And as I probably mentioned before, I'm just going to read a blurb out of the definitive book of human design on what it says about the profile. Clearly, this one is a little bit long. It's 2 pages, but I'm not going to read the full 2 pages. I'm actually just going to read the background over here, which is actually longer than the other ones that I've read so far, which is okay. That's perfect. But I'm just going to read this section over here, and then because it is a good overview about the energy of your profile. So we'll do that, and then we'll get into the reading. And interestingly enough too, like on the sidereal side of things, I'm a 3-5 profile, and this very much speaks to me too. You can find your sidereal human design chart on Genetic Matrix. I do believe that it's under the paid subscription side of things, so it's not available, I don't think, under the free subscription. And also, I don't necessarily recommend it unless you've been like experimenting with your design a little bit, because it adds more information. It could potentially be confusing, but also you may be into that. So I just wanted to make you aware of that. And again, like I said, you know, I'm a 3-5 on the sidereal side of things, and I'm a 5-1 on just like the Western, the normal. So either way, I mean, that 5 shows up in my profile. So the background, it says, if the theater is on fire and the fire department has not shown up due to budget cuts, the person standing in the middle of the theater yelling, "This is not right," while at the same time organizing a fire brigade and finding all of the exits, is the martyr heretic. The 3-5 profile combines 2 potent agents for change. Resilient, adaptable, and mutative, the conscious third line focuses itself primarily on discovery in the material world and lives a very physical trial and error process, which allows it to sustain itself and others with its discoveries. Martyrs are equipped to take the heat when they stand up and tell the truth about what isn't working, but they are not equipped to meet the other gracefully. Life bumps into them and they bump into it. Like the first and second lines, they are not looking for anyone. They are, however, looking around the world in order to be stimulated and potentially mutate. They end up bumping into all kinds of forces. Some of these forces may not be correct for it, so the third line can become pessimistic. Learning to discern at an early age what works for it or not is very important. On the other hand, the unconscious but seductive 5th line cannot escape from the other. It continually attracts projections from those who see the heretic as a general who can ride in on a white horse and pull them out of crisis. This can be quite uncomfortable for the 3-5, as from the time they were born, people project onto them that they can save the day. And then the third line process kicks in, and the one who is here to help can do nothing but make mistakes. As it matures through life, the third line naturally provides a wealth of experiential wisdom. The 5th line, the general, will be asked into situations where the martyr will know and see what does not work. It can then stand up as a heretic, take charge, and deliver something new and practical that does. The anachronistic martyr will play right along, adapting and experimenting and refining the process every step of the way. Referred to as the great fixers, they provide us with innovative solutions, help, and guidance. The 3-5 profile also needs to know when to relinquish the reins and let others continue the process themselves. They are not networkers with continual influence like the 4th line, and their greatest power and effectiveness is as a stranger of consequence. Cool. Does that sound like you? I think the major things to remember, and this might be, you know, kind of like an experience that maybe you've had, or maybe even just kind of recognized throughout your life, is that the third line is the trial and error. Like, you have to try things in order to see if they work. And there's a lot of things that are not going to work, right? But then you find the thing that does. So not only can you provide people with the wisdom of the things that do work, you can also explain to them why the other things don't work, because you've tried it, right? And then you have that 5th line projection, like it was saying, where, you know, people are just going to kind of project like, hey, you can actually save the day, you know, like, and provide practical solutions. But what they may not be prepared for is that your process is going to be figuring out all of the things that don't work in order to find the thing that does. So, you know, people may kind of focus more on the mistakes and not the solution. They may not even let you get to the point of finding a solution, right? Like, they might be like, okay, this, like, too many mistakes have been made. And you're like, no. These aren't mistakes. This is wisdom. Like, we're figuring out what doesn't work. and we're getting closer to what does work, while the other person, you know, in their projections and their fear and whatever, they're like, I just see them as mistakes. I don't see them as, you know, happy little mistakes. But again, right, like that last bit about being a consequence of, or a stranger of consequence, you know, like there's so much power in recognizing, you know, when it is time to kind of step out of the situation. Like, you know, you provided your third line energy, you provided, you know, like even if it is just a matter of figuring out the things that don't work, if that's, you know, kind of what was needed, then, you know, like it's time, or it's a good practice to recognize, you know, when it is time to step out. Because with that fifth line, there's a line between overstaying your welcome. And again, like this might just be kind of something that you've experienced throughout your life at some point, where all of a sudden, you know, like the energy changes and you go from being the savior to being whatever the opposite of the savior is, right? And you're like, what the hell? What just happened? And it's kind of like this burning at the stake thing that happens. So again, you know, it's kind of like, you know, recognizing when that energy is gone, like when you've made your contribution and it's time to move on to the next thing. But also, you know, there is this incredible power for you to inform like other people of what doesn't work. And maybe sometimes that's all you need to do. You know, like that is the practical solution. And that could be like with your friends, that could be with business, that could be in your relationships or whatever, right? But you are going to know. Like there was this 3-5 that I was in a human design course with, and part of her business, like, and I believe that she has a business that is specific to helping other business owners discover what doesn't work. And that's it. Like, but that also, you know, like, again, there's this incredible wisdom in knowing what doesn't work, because you can sift through all of that stuff and get onto the things that do work. Okay, clearly we're ready. I don't really have like a plan. But let me just, oh my gosh, that High Priestess again. We'll see if they come out. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to shuffle a couple more times and then I was gonna. It gets to a point where it like, it feels kind of snappy. Okay. And there's also this thing about the 3-5s where it's this like constant like need for stimulation. Like it's almost kind of like you constantly need to feel like you are bumping into something. Like you're constantly trying things. Or maybe you constantly do want to be trying things. I realized I didn't like say the names of the cards as I was laying them down. So we have the Seed of Wands, 2 of Thunder, 8 of Cups, Ace of Stones or Pentacles, the High Priestess, and the Seed of Thunder. I love that the High Priestess did actually come out, because like I said, like it fell a couple times or flipped in there. And this is actually the second time that the High Priestess has shown up in this exact position, which is cool. So the Seat of Wands is the Page of Wands in the traditional. And what it says is, I am the spotted seal, ready to lead the way. My creative passion is contagious. Let us swim together somewhere new. Let us play. Which is so perfect. So, I mean, like, you could be embarking on some sort of new creative passion, like it said. And, you know, the pages are when we step, like right when we step into that energy. So, you know, with the wands, it's a lot of playful, a lot of creativity. You could even be like just kind of newly talking about a thing. But it even talks about that leadership thing, right? Like, and I think that was kind of mentioned, you know, like there's this leadership and crisis type of energy that comes along with the 3-5 profile. And this could be embarking in a new like business, or, you know, because the Ace of Pentacles or the Ace of Stones, this is, you know, Pentacles talk about how we make our money. It talks about our time, our energy. It could also be our bodies. So you could be trying like a new program, like a health program, and focusing on that. This could be, again, like, you know, this kind of new business adventure. And that Seat of Wands would definitely be that third line energy. That would be the trial and error. That would be, you know, that trying it out part. But also, you know, it also is a reminder about keeping space for fun, like really kind of trying to enjoy the process. The thing with the third line and the 3-5 profile also is having the ability to kind of laugh at yourself, because it was saying in there where, you know, there could be this undertone of pessimism. And I definitely understand that myself, because I can be pessimistic. But, you know, like, and especially if it is even like your own frustration, like, you know, you're trying things and trying things and maybe they're not working out. But then, you know, like if that kind of comes from a projection where, you know, other people are like, man, you know, all these mistakes, and you're like, you don't get it though. Like all of these mistakes that have a purpose, right? But, you know, again, from that trial and error comes this amazing wisdom about what does work. And that's this Ace of Pentacles, is figuring out what does work for you. So again, you know, I mean, you could be kind of changing directions a little bit because this is something a little bit new. You could be just kind of trying something different, seeing how it goes, which is even kind of very much about like what I'm doing right now is, you know, kind of trying these profile readings. And it is new, right? Like a new way of like kind of presenting information. So that could be just maybe a situation that you're kind of, you know, finding yourself in also. There's also, you know, this rainbow here. There's this rainbow like right at the bottom. This almost kind of feels like universally guided. Like, you know, this is kind of more like in space, you know, and maybe it's kind of, you know, like the cosmos doing some things out there. And it's almost like it's elevating you. It's like kind of pushing, you know, because I just kind of see this this rainbow going up into this card, right? And then the seal is swimming upwards too. So it could just be like almost kind of propelling you to want to try something new. And then we have the Two of Thunder, or the Two of Swords. And the Two of Swords says that I'm at home with myself. I am supported by the world around me. I will take the time I need to listen. So it's interesting because with the Two of Thunder here, you know, like it's come out a couple times as well through these readings. And you can see it as almost, you know, like kind of hiding out, because it looks like they're underwater, right? And there goes that seal. Actually, I don't know. Can you see the little drawing of the seal again? That's cool. Actually, that's really cool. But, you know, like I'm just kind of seeing this as, again, like really almost kind of like grounding down in your process, right? Like, because like it says, I'm at home with myself. I am supported by the world around me. I take the time I need to listen. So this is, again, just, you know, recognizing that your process is very much exactly what it is. It's your process. There's nothing wrong with it. And maybe you do need a little bit of time to, you know, kind of recoup. But also even, you know, like I'm kind of seeing her face a little bit, and there is this kind of level of contentment and almost kind of like pouring into your own cup, even though like swords kind of deal with our minds. It is maybe about getting your mind right, about kind of even the next steps, because the Two is kind of closer to the beginning, of course, of the journey of the swords, or the journey through thunder. So, you know, it's almost kind of about like getting your mind right about what you want to do next. Like, what is the intention with this Seat of Wands, which is, you know, the seal is flowing through the Two of Thunder. So I see these things as being very much connected. Like whatever this creativity thing is that you want to try, it's almost like, you know, it's just kind of passing through your mind. Maybe even getting your intention hammered down. And then we have the High Priestess here. And the High Priestess says, I travel silently between the seen and unseen realms. Here I discover more of myself, which is also pretty perfect to be right under the Two of Thunder. Because the Two of Thunder talks about I'm at home with myself. And the High Priestess is saying, you know, I'm just discovering more about what makes me, right? I also see the High Priestess as being our star player. Like it's kind of like our direct connection to source. I love that this is an owl. I just want to say that. But also how, you know, like these two cards very much have this link to, you know, like kind of outer space and the cosmos. So there could just kind of be like this transformation going on within you. You know, the owl is a symbol of wisdom also, which is mentioned, right? Like having that experiential wisdom, like you know why things do work because you know what doesn't. You've tried all of the things or a lot of the things. So you can share with people why it doesn't work. And maybe that's also, you know, kind of why this kind of like transformation, or like why this, you know, change is happening a little bit, or why this situation is coming up, is because, you know, like now it's almost kind of like you're acting on your wisdom. And again, like I said, like, you know, really just kind of accepting yourself and your process and who you are, because both of these cards talk about discovering ourselves more. That could even be what this playful thing is. You know, since the seal is kind of like flowing through this Two of Thunder, like maybe it is even about like discovering, you know, what it is that you find pleasure in doing, or that you have a creative passion about. Or maybe that is already kind of coming into your existence and it's kind of offering you this new opportunity here. And then we have the Eight of Cups. And the Eight of Cups says, I fully honor my worth. I am powerful and ready for change. Hell yeah. Because, you know, it's kind of like, you know, no longer being in this posture of being kind of curled in on yourself. Now it's about like expansion and, you know, walking towards heading in a direction of your desires, because the card that comes after the Eight of Cups is the Nine of Cups, which is the wish fulfillment card. So now it's making that decision to head in that direction, to head in the direction of things that feel good to you. And then the Seed of Thunder says, and again, that would be the Page of Swords, says this curious, energetic one is a seeker of truth, bound towards the unknown. Engage in the mystery and follow your need to understand, which is perfect. Again, you know, like there's, you know, this playful energy that's coming out of both of these. And I love that we started with a seed or a page and we're ending with a seed or a page. So again, right, like follow that curiosity. Allow that trial and error thing to just flow through you if it doesn't already. And again, like I said, you know, there is this need to kind of be able to laugh at yourselves. And also, and I can't remember if I've already said it, but there is also kind of this need for stimulation. So you may like maybe kind of find yourself bored a lot. And that would kind of be more of, you know, like acting out of the quote unquote, like not self theme. Of course, like, you know, if it's just a matter of like kind of wanting to take a break or, you know, like whatever, that's fine, of course. But also just know that it is part of kind of like your inherent nature where you do want to kind of find stimulation. Like you do want to, you know, kind of dive into things, like get your hands dirty, right? There's nothing wrong with that. There's also, you know, when it comes to the 3-5 profile, like you might also kind of find yourself like easily forgiving other people because it's kind of like you get it, right? Like you understand, you know, either mistakes are made or, you know, but also that doesn't necessarily mean that you shouldn't have boundaries in place. I don't know why, for whatever random reason, that just popped into my head. And then we have the Empress at the bottom of the deck. And it says, abundance is ever present within me. I am healthy and I am wild and free. I allow my blooming. That's beautiful. Because that does seem to be like kind of where this is going, right? Like we kind of start out with this new endeavor, this new creative passion thing going on here. And, and then it almost just kind of like, you discover more about yourself. And maybe that's kind of what this thing is, right? Is like, this helping you get even more clear. Like I was saying, like kind of really get your mind right about it. And then you start, kind of heading in that direction to the Empress, because again, after the Eight of Cups is that Nine of Cups of wish fulfillment. And, the pages are here to remind you to still allow that fun in. Like, just know that, that trial and error process is very much there for a reason. Keep that curiosity alive, right? And again, like this even said, follow your need to understand. Beautiful. I am going to leave it there. And if you've made it this far, thank you. I'm so grateful to be on this journey with you. And I'm glad that you're on this journey with me. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.